They call it balance. They preach moderation. They warn you about burnout, about losing yourself, about going too far. And while they're busy being reasonable, they're also busy being mediocre. Let me ask you something that will make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you saw someone change their life dramatically through balance? When was the last time you witnessed true greatness born from moderation? You haven't, because it doesn't happen that way. The uncomfortable truth is that transformation, real transformation, the kind that separates you from everyone you know, requires something the world calls unhealthy. It requires obsession. This isn't a motivational speech. This isn't about hustle culture or toxic productivity. This is about understanding a fundamental law of human achievement that no one wants to admit because it destroys the comfortable narrative we've all been sold. Every person who has ever done something worth remembering was called crazy first. Every breakthrough, every empire, every legacy was built by someone who ignored the advice to slow down, to be realistic, to maintain work-life balance. They were obsessed, dangerously so, and that obsession is precisely what made them unstoppable. Machiavelli would tell you that the world belongs to those willing to do what others won't. Not just work harder, but become someone else entirely. To let a single vision consume you so completely that everything else fades into background noise. This terrifies people because it means sacrificing the comfortable life they know for the extraordinary one they can't yet see. But if you're here, if you're still reading, something inside you already knows. You're not built for balance, you're built for obsession, and it's time to stop apologizing for it. Let's start with the lie they've been feeding you. Balance is key, they say. You need time for hobbies, friends, relaxation, self-care. And sure, for most people, that's fine advice. Most people are content with ordinary lives, ordinary results, ordinary legacies. But you're not most people, or at least you don't want to be. And here's what they don't tell you. Balance is the enemy of excellence. You cannot be exceptional at something while maintaining perfect equilibrium across all life areas. It's mathematically impossible. Excellence requires disproportionate energy, time, and focus. It requires imbalance by design. Think about it. When someone becomes world-class at anything, what's the story? They practiced 8 hours a day while others were socializing. They thought about their craft while eating, sleeping, breathing. They sacrificed relationships, comfort, normalcy, and everyone around them said the same thing. That's not healthy. You're going too far. You need to slow down. But they didn't slow down. They accelerated. And that acceleration, that obsessive, single-minded focus, is what carried them past everyone who chose balance. The obsessed don't have better genetics or more talent. They have fewer distractions. They've made a decision that most people are too afraid to make. That one thing matters more than everything else combined. And once you make that decision, truly make it, your entire life reorganizes around that singular focus. Everything becomes a tool for the obsession or an obstacle to be removed. There's no middle ground, no casual involvement, no "I'll do this when I feel like it." The obsession doesn't ask permission, it demands total surrender. Now here's where this gets dangerous and why I need you to understand what you're actually choosing. Obsession will cost you. It will cost you comfort, friendships, hobbies, free time, peace of mind. People will call you extreme, unbalanced, unhealthy. They'll express concern while secretly judging you. They'll try to pull you back to normalcy because your obsession makes them uncomfortable about their own mediocrity. And you have to be okay with that. More than okay, you have to expect it and embrace it. Because the moment you choose obsession, you're choosing a different path than 99% of humanity. And that path is lonely by design. But here's what they won't tell you. That loneliness, that sacrifice, it's temporary. The obsessed suffer in isolation for years while building something undeniable. And then, when they emerge, They're operating at a level so far beyond their former peers that the sacrifices seem laughable in hindsight. Yes, they missed. In parties. Yes, they lost touch with friends who didn't understand. Yes, they spent years in a dark room or a lab or a gym while others were living life. But when they finally surface, they've created something that gives them more freedom, more power, more choice than the balanced people will ever experience. The obsessed sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term sovereignty. And that trade, when you truly understand it, is the only rational choice. Let me show you what this looks like in a practice. You wake up, and before your feet hit the floor, your mind is already on it. The thing you're building, the skill you're mastering, the problem you're solving. You don't need coffee to wake up because the obsession itself is the stimulant. Throughout your day, every moment not devoted to survival is devoted to the work. Lunch isn't a break, it's fuel consumed quickly so you can return. Commute time isn't wasted. It's spent thinking, planning, consuming information related to your focus. Evenings aren't for unwinding, they're for the second shift when everyone else has stopped for the day. And here's the thing, you're not miserable. The balanced people think you must be suffering, but you're not. You're alive in a way they can't comprehend. Because when you're truly obsessed, the work isn't work, it's the only thing that feels real. Everything else, the socializing, the entertainment, the downtime, that feels like wasted life, like you're playing a character in a movie. About normalcy, while the real you is somewhere else, building something that matters. The obsessed don't suffer from their obsession, they suffer when they're pulled away from it. Being forced to take a break or relax or be present with people who don't understand, that's the suffering. The work itself is the relief, but obsession isn't about mindless repetition. It's not about working hard at the same thing forever. True obsession evolves. It's a living thing that grows more refined, more precise, more powerful as you feed it. In the beginning, you're obsessed with learning the basics, consuming everything you can find, practicing fundamentals until they're automatic. Then the obsession shifts. You become focused on nuance, on the 1% improvements, on solving problems no one else has encountered because they haven't gone as deep as you. This is when most people quit, when the initial excitement fades and the work becomes granular, technical, seemingly endless. But the obsessed, this is when they're just getting started, because now they're in territory few have explored. Now they're creating rather than just learning. Now the obsession has fuel that can burn for decades. Machiavelli understood that power comes from commitment beyond what others will endure. The prince who can outlast, outwork, outsacrifice his rivals wins not through superior tactics, but through superior dedication. And that dedication looks like obsession to outside observers. They see someone who never stops, who can't turn it off, who makes everything about that one thing. And they're right, but they're interpreting it as a flaw when it's actually the mechanism of dominance. The person who thinks about chess while you think about dinner will beat you at chess every time. The person who dreams about their business while you dream about vacation will build a bigger business. The person obsessed with becoming dangerous will become more dangerous than the person who balances training with comfort. This isn't opinion, it's just math. Now let me address the fear. But what if I fail? What if I sacrifice everything and it doesn't work out? This is the question that keeps most people balanced and mediocre. They won't risk obsession because they're terrified of losing years to something that might not succeed. But here's what you need to understand. Obsession itself is the skill. The specific focus might change, but the ability to become consumed by something, to dedicate yourself utterly, to restructure your entire existence around a singular goal, that's a superpower that transfers. Once you learn to be obsessed with one thing and push it to elite levels, you can do it again with something else if needed. The obsessed fail upward because they've developed a capacity for focus and dedication that makes them valuable in any domain. The balanced fail sideways because they never develop that capacity, so they're forever mediocre at everything they touch. Here's your test. For the next 30 days, choose one thing, not three things, not a balanced set of goals, one thing. And for those 30 days, become completely unreasonable about it. Wake up thinking about it. Go to sleep planning it. Cut everything from your schedule that doesn't serve it. Say no to every invitation, every distraction, every temptation to take a break. 30 days of pure, unapologetic obsession. And watch what happens. You won't just make progress. You'll make more progress in that month than most people make in a year, because you'll be operating at a level of focus they can't access. And more importantly, you'll feel it. You'll feel what it's like to be truly alive, to have a purpose so clear that everything else becomes noise. That feeling, once you taste it, you'll never want to go back to balance. Balance will feel like sleepwalking. But here's the part they really don't want you to know. Obsession isn't just about achievement, it's about identity. Transformation. When you become obsessed with something, you don't just get better at that thing, you become a different person. Your confidence shifts because you've proven to yourself you can dedicate to something beyond what seems reasonable. Your standards shift because you've seen what's possible when you refuse to accept mediocrity. Your entire worldview shifts because you've exited the matrix of balance and entered the realm where the exceptional operate. You can't unsee that. You can't go back to being someone who's satisfied with ordinary effort and ordinary results. The obsession changes you permanently, and that change is more valuable than whatever you achieved through it. Let me paint the contrast. Balanced person wakes up, checks phone, eases into the day, works their scheduled hours, takes proper breaks, maintains boundaries, leaves work at work, spends evenings on hobbies and relationships, goes to bed satisfied they had a productive but balanced day. Obsessed person wakes up already thinking about the work, attacks the day with singular focus, eats while working, thinks while commuting, doesn't distinguish between work time and lifetime because the obsession is their life. Goes to bed exhausted but exhilarated, already planning tomorrow's attack. The balanced person will have a nice life, stable, comfortable, predictable. The obsessed person will build an empire, unstable at times, uncomfortable often, unpredictable always, but theirs. Completely, undeniably theirs. Which life do you want? And don't lie to me, don't lie to yourself. Deep down, you already know. Now let's talk about the obsession's dark side, because it exists and you need to be prepared. When you go all in on something, when you structure your entire existence around a singular focus, you become vulnerable. If that thing fails, if that path closes, the crash is brutal. Your identity is wrapped up in it, your time is invested in it, your social circle has shrunk to only people related to it. And if it goes away, you're left with a void that people who maintained balance don't experience. They're protected by their diversification. You're exposed by your concentration. And that's terrifying, which is why most people never go all in. They protect themselves from the potential fall by never climbing high enough to fall from. But here's the counter-argument. That void, that potential crash, it's also what makes you dangerous. Because you've trained yourself to rebuild from nothing. The person who's been obsessed and lost everything has a psychological advantage the balanced person will never have. They know they can survive the worst because they've already done it. They know they can dedicate themselves completely because they've already proven it. So if they have to start over, they start with capabilities the first-timer doesn't possess. The obsessed who fails becomes even more obsessed the second time because now they know what not to do. They're refined by failure in ways success never refines. This is why serial entrepreneurs exist, why artists keep creating after rejection, why athletes come back from devastating injuries. The obsession doesn't die with the failure. It transforms and finds a new target, and each iteration makes them more formidable. So yes, obsession is risky. Yes, you might sacrifice years for something that doesn't work out. Yes, you'll lose relationships and comfort and balance. But you know what's riskier? Spending your entire life wondering what you could have become if you'd just gone all in, dying with potential still inside you because you were too afraid to become obsessed with releasing it. That's the real risk. The regret of never knowing who you could have been if you'd stopped being reasonable. Here's how you know if you're ready for this path. If the thought of dedicating the next 5 years to a single obsessive focus excites you more than it terrifies you, you're ready. If you can look at your current life and identify 10 things you'd happily sacrifice for one thing that truly matters, you're ready. If you're more afraid of mediocrity than failure, you're ready. But if you need permission, if you need someone to tell you it's okay, if you need a guarantee it will work out, you're not ready. Obsession doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't come with guarantees. It's a leap into unknown territory with only your dedication as a parachute. And either you're wired for that leap, or you're not. Let me tell you what happens when you fully commit. The first month is chaos. Everything feels like it's falling apart because you're dismantling your old life to build the new one. People get upset, routines break, comfort disappears. You question if you made the right choice at least once a day, but you push through because you made a commitment. The second month, things stabilize. You've cut away the excess, established new rhythms, stopped caring about others' opinions. The work becomes meditative, automatic. You're in it now, fully in it. By the third month, something shifts. You're not the same person anymore. You move differently, think differently, speak differently. The obsession has rewired you, and you start seeing results, real results, that prove this path works. 6 months in, you're unrecognizable to your former self. The person who used to struggle with discipline is now the person others call obsessed. The person who used to need motivation is now the person who can't be stopped. And that transformation, that's what you're really building. The external achievements are just byproducts. Now here's the final piece, the thing that separates sustainable obsession from burnout. Obsession isn't about destroying yourself, it's about becoming yourself fully. If your obsession makes you weaker, sicker, less capable over time, that's not obsession, that's self-destruction dressed up as dedication. True obsession makes you stronger because it's aligned with who you actually are. It's not forcing yourself to care about something, it's finally allowing yourself to care about the right thing as much as you've always wanted to. The obsessed aren't suffering from their commitment. They were suffering before when they were pretending to be balanced. The obsession is the cure, not the disease. So how do you find that alignment? You look at what you can't stop thinking about even when you try, what you read about for fun, what you talk about until others' eyes glaze over, what you do for free if money wasn't a factor. That's where your obsession lives, not in what you think you should care about, but in what you cannot help but care about. And when you stop fighting that pull, when you stop trying to be reasonable and balanced and moderate, when you just surrender to what you're actually wired to obsess over, that's when everything changes. Because now you're not forcing dedication, you're channeling something that was already there. You're just finally giving it permission to take over completely. This is the madness method. Not madness in the sense of insanity, but madness in the sense of refusing to accept the normal limits. Madness that says sleep 4 hours if that's what the work requires. Madness that cancels everything to chase a breakthrough. Madness that restructures an entire life around a single irrational commitment. And from the outside, yes, it looks crazy. But from the inside, it's the only thing that makes sense. Because the alternative, living a balanced life that never reaches its potential, that's the real insanity. That's the true madness, pretending you're satisfied with less than you're capable of. So here's your choice, laid out clearly. Continue with balance, with moderation, with the reasonable approach everyone recommends. Have a nice life, a comfortable existence, no major regrets, but also no major achievements. Fit in, be normal, be safe, or choose obsession. Sacrifice comfort for the chance at greatness. Embrace the imbalance, the single-minded focus, the unreasonable dedication. Risk everything for the possibility of becoming someone who matters, who builds something that lasts, who transforms not just their life, but potentially others' lives through the sheer force of their commitment. One path is safe and forgettable. The other is dangerous and unforgettable. And you already know which one calls to you. You've known the whole time. The question isn't which path to choose. It's whether you have the courage to admit which path you're actually built for. Stop apologizing for your obsession. Stop calling it unhealthy when it's actually the healthiest thing about you, the part that knows what you're capable of and refuses to settle. Stop listening to people who've never built anything significant tell you that you need balance. They're giving you advice from their level of ambition, not yours, and their level is insufficient for what you're trying to create. You don't. Need more balance, you need more courage to be as obsessed as you actually want to be. You need permission to structure your life around the one thing that matters most. And if you're waiting for the world to give you that permission, you'll wait forever. So give it to yourself right now. Choose obsession, choose imbalance, choose the madness method, and watch what you become when you finally stop holding back. This is the truth they don't want you to know. The greatest achievements in human history came from people who were called crazy before they were called genius. And the difference between crazy and genius is just results. So become obsessed, get the results, and let them debate later whether you were crazy or brilliant. You won't care because you'll be too busy building the next thing, already consumed by the next obsession, already proving again that madness, when directed properly, is the only rational response to a world that rewards the extreme over the moderate. This is your invitation. This is your permission. This is your path. Now stop reading and start obsessing, because the world doesn't need more balanced people. It needs more people crazy enough to believe they can change it. And that person is you once you stop pretending otherwise.